Hey guys, just doing a quick sound check. Let me know if you can hear me. MCAT, what are we on? 07. Cool, you can hear me. All right, so as I was saying to you guys yesterday, I was having a look through some what do you call it? Examples for potential questions that we could do. We talked about perimeter and area types of questions. I did put up, like I mean I tried to, but in the end I actually went back to I was actually messing around with ChatGPT, and I found just how to ask a question so that we could actually get kind of word problems, really, because I suck at coming up with word problems. So what we're going to do is look, even if today, if you can actually kind of convert word problems into equations, even if we just focus on that, then I think it's a good start. And then after that, you could actually try, we'll try and actually solve these types of questions. All right. So I am going to just kind of copy and paste these questions onto OneNote, and then we're going to try and do that. By the way, welcome to all the new folks that have kind of joined in. We've got a bit more numbers today. Hector, I thought I placed the OneNote link. I'll update it, man. I keep forgetting it. I can actually just share the OneNote link later on. You can send it to my email, Hector, and we can probably do it next time. So today, kind of mainly kind of trying to kind of do the area perimeter types of questions. We might actually start off with something really simple, and then what we'll do is we'll actually try and work through some of the more bit more trickier ones. All right, so we'll start off with something very straightforward. So just to kind of give you guys a bit of a starting point. All right, so we're gonna actually, I'm gonna ask you guys to find area and perimeter. So I'm gonna have this shape here, which is gonna be a rectangle, and we're gonna have it as okay. So what I'd like you guys to do is tell me what the area is gonna be. And then what I'd like you to do is tell me what the perimeter is going to be. All right, and what we're going to try and do today is we'll try and do like a couple of basic kind of questions first, because these types of questions come as achieved questions, and then and then after that, what we'll do is we'll try and do those big word problems later in the tutorial. All right, so try that first, and of course I'm working with a rectangle there. Try and work out what the area and perimeter is. Now, if you are doing either of these questions, they tend to be achieved questions, but perimeter, you've got to actually simplify it all the way to the end. And same with the area, you've got to simplify it all the way to the end. You can't just leave the question as is. And if you do that, you don't actually get the full achieved points for that. So I'll give you guys about a minute to have a go at this. And look, if you don't know how to do this question, don't worry about it. Just have a go, see what happens. If you make a mistake, you learn from it. So either way, you're going to learn. So you might as well make that mistake. All right, so what I might do is I might just get started with this question here. Now, if you look at this particular shape, we actually have a rectangle. So we know that area formula for a rectangle is actually base times height. And it doesn't matter which one you kind of choose the base as long as you multiply the two things, two variables, you're pretty much good to go. All right, so if that's the case, then I've actually got area is equal to x plus 4 multiplied by 2x minus 5. And then at this point, what you can have to do is you actually have to expand these brackets as a quadratic, and you have to actually simplify it. All right. Oh, glad to hear that Chelsea finally got that sorted. So I'm going to treat this as just like a normal quadratic expansion, which means I've actually got 2x squared minus 5x, and then I've got my little insides and outsides, whatever you want to call them. I've got plus 8x minus 20. So simplifying this means you have to combine these two terms. Now if you do it, if you leave your final answer anything before this point, it's not simplified, and therefore you might not actually get the full grades for this question. So we're going to get 2x squared plus 3x minus 20 as the area. Now when we look at the perimeter, remember that perimeter is actually adding the borders. So we actually want to add this plus this side, and plus this. So basically what we have is how do you do x over 5 plus 2 equals 9? Okay, sorry Hector, I'm not sure if that's a different question or you're actually talking about this. So with perimeter, what we're going to do is we've actually got two of those x plus 4s, because remember, you've got x plus 4 at the numerator, not the numerator, at the top, and then you've got 2x minus 5 on the left hand side. So that means your perimeter is going to be 2 times x plus 4. Just going to separate that, plus 2 times 2x minus 5. So at this point we're going to expand the brackets, so 2 times x and 2 times 4, which is going to be 2x plus 8. Then we've got 2 times 2x and 2 times negative 5, and that's going to give us 4x minus 10. So combining the like terms, we've got 2x and 4x, which equals to 6x, and finally we've actually got 8 and minus 10, which equals to minus 2. Oh, thank you Benjamin for that, appreciate it. Oh, and both Ali as well. Yeah, so pretty much this is what you're looking for, an achieved question. Now usually saying they'll have a follow-up question for a merit. All right, and the way it kind of works is that so I'm going to kind of branch off these into two different types of questions, right? So you might, I mean, I'm not saying that this is the actual same question. Let's imagine for a second we're still working with the same shape. I just need to do the perimeter in my calculator. So of course you guys can see my calculator, which makes it so much more fun. Let me just give me a second. I'm just going to try and work this out in my head to see if I can actually do this. 8, 24. Okay, so here's a question for you guys. If the area equals 24, find x. All right, so that's one part of the question, and the second part of the question is going to be quattro. What is it? Quattro. If the perimeter I might actually do this as a different one actually for the perimeter. If the perimeter equals to 28, find x. So these are like two separately different types of questions. All right, like I'm not telling you guys the x is the same thing. It's just two different things. All right, so Chelsea, basically what happens is that you get 1 hour for this particular exam. There's no calculators allowed, and yeah, pretty much you've got 1 hour, and there's about 15 questions that you've got to try and answer. If you go to my main page of my channel at level 1 MCAT revision, there's like all the old exam papers that you can watch just to see what the questions look like. There is lots of tutorials on it that you can just have a look through, and there's like skills that you might need. So if you're like really you know, pretty comfortable with algebra, then I think you should be all good with this. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave those 2 questions for you guys, and I'm gonna give you guys maybe a couple. We'll probably do the perimeter one first. I'll give you guys maybe a couple of minutes to do both, 2 to 3 minutes. Raymond, generally, I think it's pretty easy to pass MCAT. Like, you only need like 3 questions correct to get an achieved. Yeah, I think it's like 1 question correct from each question. So there's like 3 questions that they have. Let me just have a look at the last assessment schedule. Yeah, so for achieved grade, you can get like, you just need to get 3 questions correct. So Raymond, the way it kind of works is like they have roughly 15 to 16 questions, but they split it up into 3 sections, section A, B, and C. And what you do is, if you get like 1 question correct from each of those sections, you pass. That's pretty much it. And like, say for example, a question like this, coming up with the equation for a perimeter or area, it's worth like an achieved. You can easily pass MCAT, man. Alright guys, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually try and do the perimeter one first, just to show you how easy it is, right? And like I said to you guys before, it usually tends to be like merit and so forth. How do you get excellence? How hard is excellence? Basically, last year you needed to get, for excellence, you need to get like 2 excellence questions correct and 2 merit questions correct. So what I'll do is like later on, I might just put like a little, I always do it every year, but like every year the schedule is slightly different. But generally speaking, I say to kids that if you get 1 excellence question correct in each of those 3 sections, then you're guaranteed almost an excellence for 3 of them correct. But yeah, that's kind of what's been it. Yeah, I would say so, right? Yeah, pretty much, Raymond. Yeah. So you need to get like 3 questions correct out of the 15 to pass out MCAT. But they have to be in that sections, right? So you can't get all 3 questions correct in like question 1. Now, Ali, geometric reasoning is not the hardest. It's just one of those things you have to remember the formulas. And I think if you get a bearings question, that's like one of the easiest excellence question you're going to get for bearings anyway. Alright guys, so I'm going to work out the perimeter here. So with the perimeter, I did say to you that it was 28. So it's a pretty straightforward equation, because all you're going to do is just go 6x minus 2 equals 28. And then you've got 6x equals 28 plus 2. Then you got 6x equals to 30. And then x is equal to 30 divided by 6. And so in this particular case, we can actually say that x is equal to 5. All right. Now, as I said to you guys before, this is a kind of like a sideways question. So there are like 2 different questions I've actually put up here. Alright, as for the area, we've got a formula which is 2x squared plus 3x minus 20. That is the formula. And we know that the area is equal to 24. All right. So we've got to solve this. Now, as I said to you guys before in that tutorial when I was working with the quadratics last week, you've got a couple of options. I mean, if you know how to do quadratic formula, you can do that. Some people like to do completing the square. I mean, look, whatever works for you, you gotta go with that. All right, this is the important part. Whatever works for you, you gotta go with that. The method that I do, and I know, like, you know, I was having a recent look in some of the conversations that we teachers were having. It's like, yeah, you know, people have different ways of doing it. Find the one that works for you. Okay, the method that I do, it might work for you, it might not, but you've got to figure out what actually works for you. So we're gonna go 2x squared plus 3x minus 20. I'm gonna bring this 24 to the left hand side and put my right hand side as 0. So then what I've got is 2x squared plus 3x minus 44 equals to 0. Now here's where my algorithm kind of I start doing this weird algorithm. I got 2 times negative 44, which equals to negative 88, and I'm looking for plus 3. So basically I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to negative 88 and 2 numbers that add up to positive 3. So in this case, I'm gonna go with positive 11 and minus 8, positive 11 and minus 8. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be splitting up this 3x as 11 and minus 8. And it doesn't matter which way you do it. So I'm actually going to do this one, 2x squared plus 11x minus 8x minus 44. So as you guys can see, the 11 and the minus 8 comes from just above here. And all of this is of course equal to 0. So I'm going to split this up into 2 parts. I'm going to factorize the left hand side of the green line, which is going to be just x, and I've got 2x plus 11. Then on the right hand side of the green line, I've got negative 4 as a common factor, so I can write this as 2x plus 11 equals to 0. So then I can say that I've got 2x plus 11 as one common factor, and the other factor is going to be x minus 4. And of course the x is from there, the negative 4 is from there. Still not finished with this part, because I need to actually put this equal to 0 and find out what x is. So I've got 2x plus 11 equals to 0, or x minus 4 equals to 0. So in the first situation I'm going to get x equals to positive 4. And in the second situation, I've got 2x is equal to minus 11. And then x is equal to negative 11 divided by 2. So I've got x equals to negative 5.5. Now the problem, guys, is this. If x equals to negative 5.5, if I actually put it in here when it's x plus 4, I'm actually going to get a negative value. So this is something you guys need to do. You have to check your answers to see if the answers are possible or not. So because I'm going to say x can't be negative, therefore x is equal to 4. Now this particular part of this question I'm probably thinking like borderline merit excellence, but I'd actually say it's probably merit. Yeah, so Benjamin, look, we had a discussion about this. I mean, like, theoretically, what they're looking for is the 2 solutions. So if you actually know how to use the quadratic formula, go for it. Theoretically, it should be okay, because they're not looking at your method. How do I say it? Like, if you actually go from here, from this line, like let's say from this line here, you jump straight to this part and this part, you know, considering that you have no calculator, you must have done something to get those 2 answers. I mean, like, I don't see why you can't use the quadratic formula. So yeah, pretty much that's what we're looking at, guys. Now look, what I'll do is, like every time I do this, I'm gonna do it here as well. I'm gonna put some line numbers. Let me know if you have any questions with any particular line, and then I should be able to kind of help you guys out with it. So give me a yell on the chat if you don't understand anything. I'll go through it. Otherwise, what I might do is I'm going to give you guys another question like this, just to see how we go. Yeah, Chelsea, as I mentioned before, yeah, if you can do the quadratic formula, go for it, because you can actually get it done a lot quicker. Every tutorial, someone has to ask this. Maybe I should actually put it as part of my profile, Kavish. No, I teach at a Ormiston Junior College, man, out in East Auckland. Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking, Benjamin, because it's like, because you're not allowed calculators, I mean, you still have to figure out something, right, to get to those answers. Oh, Chelsea, you want me to do the quadratic equation? Okay, yeah, real quickly, right? Because I mean, like, some of these guys are probably not seen a quadratic formula. But if I was to do this quadratic formula, 2x squared plus 3x minus 44. Sorry, I'm not going to explain this, guys. I'm just trying to kind of do this real quickly. I mean, if you do remember this formula, it does make life a lot easier. But in saying that, we got 3 squared, which is 9, minus 4 times 2 times negative 44 over 2 times 2. Oh, that is a horrible number. 88 times 4. Gee, 88 times 4. I got to do that in my head. 320, 352, 352 plus 9. 352 plus 9, 352 plus 9, 361. I'm getting 361. What is 361? Have I made a mistake here? If it's positive 4, what is square root of 361? 225 is 15, 16 is 256, 18, 19? I'm thinking 19, I'm guessing it's 19. I could be completely wrong. I'm gonna go with 19. Is it 19? 19 times 19. God, I gotta do this. There you go. Try and do this way, right? 81, 8, 7, 1, 19. Yeah, 361. That's right. So 19 it is. I'm trying to do this without calculator. So you got negative 3 plus 19 over 4, or negative 3 minus 19 over 4. So you're going to get 16 over 4 or negative 5.5. Hopefully that helped, Chelsea. Kavish, most schools have, you know, kind of like, how do I say it? It's kind of like a gateway subject for some of the other subjects. I don't know how, how it works with some of the schools. Like some schools, they say you've got to pass, and some schools you have to say they kind of just get through. But anyway, look, let me put another question for you guys. This one I'm actually going to copy straight, because I was actually copying this question from ChatGPT, but like I'll put it up there. Like I said, I was playing around with this. Damn. It's not bad, right? Like, see, I can just come up with questions on the spot now without having to like try and figure out. Oh, come on. Could this be any smaller? Alright, let me try and figure this out. Man. Where's the font size? See, this is why I gotta do these things like prepped before, but hang on, let me just readjust this. What do we got? There we go. I think that's all right, isn't it? Yep, there we go. So this is the question we're going to try and do right now. What the main part about these types of questions is that you want to try and get that diagram correct first. All right, most of the time it's sometimes they give you guys the diagram, sometimes they don't give you guys the diagram. So we're going to actually, in these tutorials, what we'll try and do is we'll try and do things without the diagram, so that just in case you get a question where you don't have a diagram, you're pretty you can at least give things a go. So what I'd like you guys to do first is try and draw a diagram. I'm going to give you guys about, I don't know, maybe half a minute, 1 minute to try and do this diagram, and then I'll actually go walk you guys through the diagram. Like I said before with my tutorials, if you make a mistake, no one really cares. Just give things a go. All right. Benjamin Marco. No worries, Marco. You're welcome for that. Tripped up on the multiplying part. Marco, I try and cover majority of the things, but like, you know, look, I generally don't know what's coming in the exam. It's just like sometimes you try and kind of predict. But I try and cover all the bases so that you've got all the necessary kind of skills to handle any kind of questions they ask you. Most of the time what I find is that like people don't realize they actually know how to do it, because they come out of the exam and they're like, they message me and they go, how do you do this? And I'm like, oh, you already know how to do this. I just do it. And then you're like, oh man, I can't believe I did that. So it's just practice, right, Marco? So you might want to go back and just have a look at some of the previous stuff. I mean, if you find it easy, then just skip through it. But basically, we'll try and do as many of the questions as possible, and we'll try and ramp it up as we get closer to the exam. All right. When I say ramp it up, like we're not going to be doing like some of the achieved questions at that time. We'll be mainly looking at merit and excellence, because my goal for you guys is quite simple. I don't want you guys just to pass this paper. I actually want you guys to get like a nice grade. You know, it's a first external you do, and you want to go in with all the confidence possible. All right, so how do we actually do this particular kind of question? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually draw our shape. So if you look at the first line here, it actually says rectangular garden. That's your clue. Measure 16 by 10. Okay, so we're going to draw that. That's probably not a good idea. So we're going to go with a rectangular garden that's 16 by 10. Teresa, it's actually on my email address. My email address is there right at the bottom on the corner. Around the garden, there's a pathway uniform width of X meters. Now, this is quite a common question that we see all the time. All right. So, and what happens is we've got a pathway around. So this part here is the garden. All right, got a lovely bit of grass patch there in this garden. And we're going to have a pathway that's actually around it. And it says that it has a uniform width of X meters. Basically, that's saying that this part is X, this part is X, this is X, and this is X. And so what we're going to do is we're going to replace X there, X there, X there, and X there. The next thing it says, if the total area of the path of the garden and the pathway combined is 4 times the area of the garden alone, find X. All right. So what we've got here is, I'm going to try and show you guys in a slightly different way. So imagine it like this. So we've got this big blue triangle. Sorry, not triangle, rectangle. This blue rectangle is actually equal to 4 times the area of the garden. No worries, Marco. Usually people are like quiet and in and out when they need to. But if you have questions, just feel free to ask, all right? Okay, I'm going to pause there. Let me know if you guys are good with this. If you're good, just say move on. If you need help, just say help. I don't understand how you got that part. So basically, this is pretty much what the question has said so far. If you're ready to move on, just let me know. Okay, one good. That's good enough to move on. Cool. So what we're going to do is, first things first. We know what the we know what the area of the garden is, because the garden is actually 16 by 10. We already have that. So we know what the area of this blue shape is going to be, because that's going to be 4 times 16 times 10. Now that's going to be 640, what is it, meters squared. We don't need to worry too much about units. I think that's a good thing about MCAT, is that you don't have to actually worry about units. They hardly ping you for it, but it's a good thing to kind of remember. Okay, so we got the area of the blue rectangle, but we need to come up with the equation for the rectangle for the base and the height. So if you look at the base, what we've got here is we've got x from there to there, and then we've got 16, and then we've got another x. So in other words, I hope you guys can see what's happening there. So that length, the base of the blue rectangle is going to be x plus 16 plus x. So in other words, we're looking at the base as 2x plus 16. And when you look at the height of this blue rectangle, we've got x, 10, and x. So the height of the blue rectangle is going to be 2x plus 10. So once we've got that figured out, we've actually got a nice little quadratic here, because we've actually got 2x plus 16, 2x plus 10, and the area inside of it is 640. At this point, we're just going to have to try and work out the equation. Now what I'll do is I'll set this up, and I'll come back and ask, try and answer some of the questions. So we've got base times height equals the area, which happens to be 640. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. If you want to carry on with it, you can. But otherwise, I'm going to come back to Tada there. Tada, where did I lose you, Tada? So did I lose you at the 2x plus 16, 2x plus 10? Why can't it be 680? Ah, right. Okay, Tada, I'll answer that question in a second. Why can't it be 680? I'm not, like, the reason it can't be 680 is because it actually says 4 times the area of the garden. The garden is 16 times 10, which is 160. 160 times 4 is 640. It is, right? Yeah, it should be 640. Let me check. If the question says, hang on, let me just. So you know how it actually says the area of 160 plus x equals 4 times 60. 160 plus x. Hang on, how did you get 160 plus x? No, it actually says the area of the garden plus the area of pathway equals 4 times area of the garden. Now, Chelsea, if you think about it like this, it actually talks about the area of the path. Now, the path itself is just this. Maybe I should put in a different color. I'm going to choose yellow here for the path. So the yellow part is the path. So it actually says the area of the path plus and the area of the garden is 4 times the garden. No. We don't go let x be the area of pathway, guys. X is not the area. X is actually the width. And Chelsea, no, it can't be 680 because it has to be. I'm not sure where you got that 680 from. I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, I'm hoping that last diagram actually made sense. It's the area of the pathway plus the area of the garden. The pathway itself is only the yellow colored area. So if you think about it like this, it's a separate. So this is the pathway. So the pathway is here plus the inside garden, which is in there, is equal to 4 times the garden itself. Now the x is actually the width itself. It's not the area. So Tara, to go back to your question, you were asking why. How did I get? I'm confused as to why you added the x's on the outside. Now look at this particular diagram here. The length from here to here is 16, and remember the pathway is x wide. So that means it's going to be x wide from here to here, and it's also x from here to there, because the pathway is actually x wide. So if I was to bring it down to figure out what the base of the big rectangle is, I've got x from there to there. From there, that's the middle part, which is 16. And then the last part is x itself. So I've actually got 1x, 2x, 16. And this is now the base of the big rectangle. And likewise, if I look at the height, I'm going to do the height in a different color. You've got 10. You've got x from there to there. You've got x from there to there. So which means you've got x, 10, x. So then this would become x plus x, which is 2x plus 10. So here you get 2x plus 10. Here you get 2x plus 16. Because the blue part is the entire height of that rectangle. So like I said to you guys before, like the hardest thing for you guys is actually coming up with this equation. Once you come up with the equation, then it's pretty much a quadratic equation. You got to expand the bracket, put it equal to 0, and you can use quadratic formula, whatever way to try to solve it, and you're going to be able to solve it. Now this particular question is definitely an excellence question, right? It's not like one of those achieved merit questions, but what it does do though, there are plenty of opportunities to get achieved in merit in this. So some people will look at this question and go, oh man, this is just too hard, I'm not gonna do this. But the reality is this: even if you do just set up the equation, you could get an achieved. If you go like to a certain part of the question, you could get a merit. And if you finally solve it, you could get an excellence. All right. So whenever you look at one of these big questions, don't be afraid. Just even setting up the equation, just like this basic equation, you could actually walk away with like an achieved or a merit. All right. So I have got this equation right now, which I need to solve. I've got 2x plus 10 brackets 2x plus 6 equals to 640. All right, now I could have actually given you guys a much harder one, but like the reality is that I've kind of stuffed up in this question a little bit. with the ChatGPT, but you can actually do this much simpler. You don't have to actually go too complex. All right, and how I would do that is I would actually have a look at the 2x plus 10, 2x plus 6. I can see that it has a common factor. No, Raymond, no. In fact, you could actually do just 3 questions, and if you get those 3 questions correct, you can pass as well. But again, it all comes down to that sections, right? You got to get like at least 1 question, minimum 2 questions in one section correct, and 1 question correct in another section. All right, so you're not going to fail if you miss like a question or anything like that. But anyway, I'm looking at this question here. I can see that 2 is a common factor for the first bracket. Take it out. I see another 2 is a common factor. I'm going to take it out. So I've got 2 times 2, which is 4, times x plus 5 and x plus 3 equals 640. I'm going to get rid of the 4 to the other side. I'm going to get x plus 5, x plus 3 equals 640 divided by 4. So I've got x plus 5 times x plus 3 equals 160. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I made a mistake. I knew. Thank you, Marco. This is what I was afraid of. I'd always end up making like a stupid mistake somewhere. 16. Okay, let's try that again. So we're going to get 2x plus 8. That's better. All right, nothing changes. We still got to do the same thing, but we've got x plus 8. 640, x plus 5 times x plus 8. 640 divided by 4. And then we've got x plus 5. I'm going to expand the brackets, guys, just to make it easier. I've got x squared plus 13x plus 40 equals 160. Rearranging it, I'm going to get x squared plus 13x plus 40, take away 160 equals to 0. Just going to put that in a different color. What do I got here? I've got x squared plus 13x minus 120 equals to 0. 2 factors. What am I going to get? Have I made a mistake somewhere? Where did I make a mistake? Where's my mistake? Where's my mistake? No, I don't think so. I think you'd be fine, but I'm just checking. I feel like I've made a mistake somewhere here. 120. No, that's got to be 2, because it's 2, like when you take it out, it's 4. I feel like I've made a mistake somewhere. I just can't figure out where. Help me out, people. Help me out. $120 and 13 doesn't look right. Unless my head is just too tired. Nah, I've made a mistake somewhere, right? Can you guys see where I made the mistake? It's gonna be something really simple, I'm telling you. 1610. if I do 680, would it work? No, it wouldn't work, right? 680 divided by... $170, would that work? Let me just check this. Oh no, what have I done here? What have I done? Come on guys, somebody's gotta help me out. Where's my mistake at? Must be a stupid mistake. Times 5 is 40, 170. Ah, what? Is this not gonna become a like a nice answer? Have I made a mistake with the question somewhere? Come on, ChatGPT, I asked you to give me integers as an answer. You've given me some horrible numbers here. Yeah, I can't see what I've made a mistake with, but let me just have a look. Two x plus 16, 2x times 10, that all looks right. 4x squared, x squared, 13x, 40, that looks right as well. Yeah, I reckon, I'm actually going through their answer because it's like I've done everything right, but then solve the quadratic equation, minus 4at equals to 0. So 640, yeah, that looks right as well. What the hell? Hang on. 4x squared, 52x, 4at. I think I know what the problem is. Hang on, just give me 1 second. Oh, you 4x squared. What's 6 times 4? No, it does work out, but then see, no, I'm like, I've actually got the answer here with me, right? Like, look at this. So here's what they've done. So we're still getting this part here, right? Like, I know I can't actually show it to you guys, but like, I don't know if you can see it, but like, it says 4x squared plus yeah, that's all right. We've done that. But then they go into solving this. How does it work? 4x squared, 24. Now here's the problem here. If I do this, that's not actually equal to that, because 80x minus 24 is not equal to that. So this is actually incorrect. God damn. Okay, I realize what the problem is. All right, folks. I think I realize what the problem is. The problem is, unfortunately, the question that I got from with ChatGPT, which I did ask for, I asked for integers. Here we go, look at this. Give me a question with solutions as integers. But unfortunately, it's given me a question where this is actually not correct. This part here is actually not correct. I just looked at the answer and I thought, oh yeah, this would actually work out real nicely, but there you go, it doesn't actually work out. So and I guess this is a great lesson for us not to trust ChatGPT, number one. Number two is yeah, I think it did do it the incorrect way, because I can see where the mistake it did. So it basically made a mistake at this line here, which I know I can't actually show you guys. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Marco. I can see where the mistake is, because it basically went 4x plus 80 times x minus 6. Now that does not equal to the equation on the left hand side. So I'm sorry to say this, I think we might have to run a few more tests on ChatGPT before we get those questions, because I thought I'd get a nice question, easy question for you guys. That kind of sucks. But look, theoretically, when you get to this point, it'll be a nice quadratic equation. Not like this, because you guys have to understand, you guys don't have a graphics calculator, and if you don't have a calculator at all, so you can't be expected to do these types of questions. All right. So if you find that when you get to a point and your quadratic equation is not working out, then there's a very good chance you've made a mistake and you have to go back. Now, when they give these exams in the MCAT, they choose numbers that actually work out. They don't choose these like random numbers like what we did today. All right. Yeah, thank you, Zongzina. Yeah, so that is pretty much what happened today. That was my bad on me, because I thought I saw the final answer and I thought, oh, this is going to work out. But then I'm starting to do this and I realize actually it's not going to work out, because what we're going to end up is with a number that's going to be like a decimal point, and you don't actually have that. So sorry about that. Next time I'll play around with the question a bit more, but I'll actually, hang on, let me just go check. We're gonna do this. We're gonna say, hang on, your answer is incorrect. Yada yada yeah, that's all fine. Yep, we did that. We also did that. See, I think it's because it's the... Oh, no. Okay, give me the actual solution for this problem. I think I've figured out what the problem is. I think I might have asked the question as, give me the answers in integers, and so it's probably done something silly. So we should get like, the answer we should get is something like 6.2 and minus 19. But it keeps doing that. That sucks. Alright guys, look, I've got to apologize for that. Like, I think that's just something that I'm still kind of tinkering. I'll try and play around with it a bit more so that we can get questions that actually come up with nice answers. So it's not like we've done anything wrong here. We're just gonna have to stop there because because you don't actually have a calculator, we won't be able to do it. You should ask it that it made a mistake and it's factorizing. All right, let's try that one. Your factorizing is incorrect. Yeah, I think so, Chelsea. You might be all right. Is it still going to factorize that way? See, it keeps going back to integer solutions. What? Yeah, but 15 minus 8 is not 13. See, it still keeps doing silly things. Okay, now you know what? I'm gonna stop there. It's just now wasting our time. So guys, look, what I'll do next time is I'll try and find some questions that genuinely work for us, and I might need to just kind of double check that the questions actually work from ChatGPT. But look, apart from that, like, we pretty much got the basics of the question, right? We've got the word problem, setting it up as a diagram, and then getting the equation, and then we kind of have to just work it through. Now we might actually do next time we'll actually try and spend a bit more time on this question, like these types of questions. So I'll see if I can generate some more. Hopefully they work, and then we'll go from there. Bella, the reason I didn't do that right at the beginning was like to be honest, I saw the 2 2s, especially here, and I was like, well, I can actually see that it's a common factor there, I don't want to complicate the quadratic equation. I just thought I can take the 2 out and leave it as it is. That was my thinking behind it. Anyway, guys, look, that's pretty much... no, x won't be a common factor there. It'll just, it'll just be the number itself. Now, we did everything right. It's just at the end of the day, we didn't have a equation that actually worked. Yeah, we could try that, Raymond, but I just need to remember it. Like, I probably will, because we're not going to come back till I don't know when. I need to check with my schedule. I think Wednesday I'm planning to do a level 2 one, and Thursday I'm going to go back to calculus for level 3s. That was a bit of a downer with that question. But look, I'll hang out for a couple of minutes, guys, but other than that, we're pretty much done for the night. We'll probably, like I said, Raymond, before we go to those questions, we'll probably come back to this type of perimeter and area questions. I just want to maybe ask the question the right way with ChatGPT, so that we can get a good question to work with. Because I think if we get how we asked the question correctly, then that's pretty much a lot of practice questions for us as well. Yeah, Benjamin, I was thinking about doing the integration paper, at least question 1. Just I'm a bit short on time at the moment, so that I can actually try and get that out of the way. Tara, normally we do Sundays and Mondays, and then as we go closer to the MCAT, I'll probably just ramp up a bit more streams. Glad you did, Chelsea, glad you did. No, you're all good, Rishi. It is what it is. But look, I've got to ask. What was it? I'm always gonna kind of ask these annoying questions. But like, is anybody from Papatoetoe High School? I just need you to give some grief to a teacher. Ali, it's different, man. Like, I mean, like every year the excellence questions, they change it up. So it's there's a whole variety of it. But yeah, so it's kind of hard to kind of predict, because some years they change the questions up a little bit. So I don't know which one. Like one year, like I'll be honest. Like if you go and have a look at the old papers, some of the old papers they get excellence, which now are like merit, even though it's the same standard. Oh, nothing, Benjamin. It's a fantasy thing. Like we play fantasy football, and yeah, one of the teachers there, playing him this weekend, and so just trash talking. That's all. Is there one that comes up consistently? Consistently, you're looking at that perimeter area question. That's always they always have that area question there that comes up as an excellence question. Matt, like seriously, like we do a lot of trash talking with our fantasy football, especially with especially me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I like the amount of stirring that I do is just, it's awful. It's terrible, really, but what are the 3 sections normally about? They mix it up, Talia. So it's like they usually start with, like, usually the first question in every section is pretty much like an achieved question, and then they kind of mix it up. Like sometimes it's like a merit excellence. But the first question is always like a nice and easy one. And generally speaking, if you can answer the first 3 questions and you're confident with it, you pretty much pass the MCAT, because that's your 3 achieved in each section. What other school teachers are part of that? So we've got senior college, Ormiston Senior College. We've got Ormiston Junior College, Papatoetoe High School. Is there any other coaches? There's a few from like outside who are not teachers as well that we play. When's the new Minecraft video coming out? Now we've been playing Stumble Guys at the moment. Oh no, Ali did not hear about that. That's not good. When did that happen? Jesus, everyone okay? Oh, all right, all right. Jesus, I always get scared, man. When's level 2 algebra? I think. What are we gonna do? Was it on today's what? What is today? Monday. Monday. So that means we'll do Wednesday. Wednesday, algebra. Yeah, I think Wednesday. Alright guys, look, that's pretty much me for the night. I'm gonna get some rest. Rishi, it depends. I would like to do one tomorrow, but it depends on how I'm feeling. I've got to take my kid to swimming and then see how much energy I've got left over. But I really want to come back and try and do this area perimeter question again. If not tomorrow, then we do one on Sunday, alright? And then we'll try and, like I said, we'll try and kind of do a bit more. But guys, that's me today. Have a great night. Enjoy, take plenty of rest, whatever that is. See ya, and have a good one. Bye.